What's up, everybody? Jake Filkey here. Listen, this video has the possibility of changing your life, and so I would encourage you to watch it all the way till the end. When all this started, and future children and grandchildren, the pandemic happened this year. The COVID-19 pandemic happened this year. When all of this hit, it was March 17th, I believe, in California when it really hit us, because the state shut down all in one day, pretty much. And when it hit, I'm really good at, when the emergencies happen, things happen, I'm really good at coming up with a plan, staying strong, keep my brain focused. And then after about a month and a half or so, I start coming down from the mountain, and everything starts setting in. And that's when I start struggling with a lot of different thoughts, a lot of different feelings. What do I do here? What do I do there? Is this the way it's going to be for the rest of our lives? All this stuff, and reality kind of sets in really hard. And I was kind of in a funny spot. The Lord had answered so many questions all at one time, and but the answers were not exactly what I wanted them to be. They were, no, I don't want you to go there. No, I don't want you to do that. No, I don't want you to do this, that, or the other. And it was like God answered all my questions all at one time. They weren't the answers I wanted, and so there was some disappointment attached to what I was praying for. The Lord answered me, but I was a little bit disappointed because it wasn't exactly what I thought it should be. And so I was kind of in this rut, and I was having this hard time, and still doing what I do, and pushing forward, and I was growing leaps and bounds, and all these things were happening, but I was just like in this rut spiritually, and mentally I was like in this rut. And so all of a sudden, out of nowhere, God began to do something inside of me, and I decided something. I decided that I was not going to allow this season to define me, but I was going to allow this season to be the most transformative year that I've ever had. That this year is going to be the most transformative year that I have ever had. And I know for some, that you may have different ways. For us at the church, there are days that I work at the church 12 hours or more because of everything going on, and we're recording every day, we're calling people every day, there's so many things going into pastoring that most people never actually see, and we're working 3 times as hard and doing 3 times as much, and it's the season we're in. And so, but I had decided that this was going to be the most transformative year that I've ever had, that I was going to allow God to transform me in a way that I had never been before. And so there were some decisions that I had to make, and one of the things that God spoke to me one day when I was praying about one particular thing, and the Lord answered my question on a Sunday afternoon. It completely brought light to everything, and on Tuesday I was still praying about it, and the Lord said, Jake, I've answered you, stop wrestling. So I had to stop wrestling around with this thing that I had been carrying around for about 4 years. I've been carrying it around and wondering if it could have been different, wondering if it could have been better, and God answered my question. He answered my prayer. And it wasn't exactly what I thought it was going to be, but my question was answered. And so what I would say to you, if you want this year to be the most transformative year that you have ever had, you've got to stop wrestling with some of those things you're wrestling with. And you've got to let go. There's a part of Christianity where you're fighting, right? Where we don't fight against flesh and blood, but against principalities and rulers of high places. There's a part of being a believer where you're fighting. But when it comes to the Holy Spirit, we don't fight the Holy Spirit. We lean into the Holy Spirit. We lean back and we relax and we allow Him to do His work in us. And, when Thomas asked the question of Jesus, when you leave earth, because Jesus was telling them that, that He was going to, die and that He was going to leave them. When He asked that, then Thomas answered back, and his question was, well, Jesus, when you leave, who's going to show us how to live? Who's going to show us the way to eternity? And Jesus says, I'm going to leave the Paraclete. So the Paraclete is the great helper. The Holy Spirit is the great helper. And so But the challenge a lot of us have is we tend to wrestle with the helper. We tend to wrestle with the one who's trying to lead us to life, the one that is trying to lead us and guide us in truth, the one that's trying to lead us out of our circumstance, or lead us out of our problem, or lead us out of our challenges. We tend to fight with the helper. And so the Holy Spirit was like, I really felt and I heard, well, I answered you, stop wrestling me. So I stopped wrestling with him about some of these things I had been praying about. And I began to lean in and say, okay, well, Holy Spirit, what do you want me to do? Like how do I? And so I began just really feeling like, wow, this is a period of time where I have an absence of distractions. With normal life, you're thinking, well, do I need to go to the store now? Am I going to go to the movies with my friends? Am I going to do this birthday? Am I going to do that birthday? Am I going to go here? Am I going to go there? There are so many things that have been limited. I've come to realize that I don't need to grocery shop but every 2 weeks. And the amount of money that I was spending on the movies and going out and all of these different things, my life is much simpler because it's absent of distraction. And when you have an absence of distraction, things can get a little more focused. Now, I know for me, when I have days off, I love to get in my word. I love to read my word, and I love to read my Bible. And before, I would do it a half hour to 45 minutes a day. But now that I've got to limit my interactions, I've got to limit what I can do, where I can go, who I can hang out with, because I've got to limit that. I have a lot more time that I can focus. And what's wild about this whole thing is I have found that I've been watching less TV and less Netflix, even though I canceled that back in December. I've been watching less of everything, and I've been taking a whole lot more time. So, for instance, when I wake up on a Friday morning or when I wake up on a Saturday morning, I have no problem spending 3 hours sitting there in prayer, reading my word, getting an understanding of what God is saying to me in this season. And I have found a strength in God in this season that I've not found before. And it's not that it wasn't there, it was that I had been wrestling with things, I've been fighting with things, I've been questioning the Lord on some things, I had so many different distractions. But this year can very, very easily be the most transformative year that you have ever had. It can transform your life. But you've got to, number one, don't wrestle with God. Don't wrestle with what God is doing in your life. Don't wrestle with things that you already have answers for. Just lean in, lean back, humbly allow the Holy Spirit to work on you, to speak to you, to say things to you, to lead you in what you need to do. And the other thing is, when He speaks to you, don't allow things to distract you. Don't allow things to distract your movement every day, and lean into the fact, or just allow the fact that there are less distractions out there, and your life you've not caused it to be, but your life is simpler, and that's okay. That's good. Take advantage of the simple life. Take advantage of a life without distractions. Now, I can hear in my head somebody is going to be thinking while I'm saying this, well, Pastor Jake, you don't have children. That's very true. And you don't understand what it's like to have children. One of the greatest examples I had for this was a friend of mine. Her name is Kelsey Rhodes. And I stayed with them. And one of the neatest things I saw was when their kids got home from school, they had a room where their kids had all these activities and these games and movies that were, pre-approved by mom and dad. And every day when they would come home from school, they would give a snack, and then she would send them to that room, and they could play, they could read, they could watch these movies. But she would say, listen, come back down when dinner is ready. Mom is gonna be down here, but you're gonna be upstairs, but only come down when mom is ready for you for dinner. I thought that was an amazing idea. I would say you can implement the same thing, so that you have time in your word, time in prayer, time to center yourself and allow yourself to be spoken to by the Holy Spirit. I think it will change your life. Let this year be the most transformative year that you have ever had. Let this year be the most transformative year that you have ever had. It can be. Let it happen. All right. Bless you. We'll see you later. Bye.